The Premier and the Socialist. Banjo, Paterson, Andrew, Barton. The Premier and the Socialist were walking through the state. They wept to see the savings bank such funds accumulate. Quo. If these were only cleared away, quo. They said, quo. It would be great. Quo. Quo. If 3 financial amateurs controlled them for a year, do you suppose, quo. The Premier said, quo. That they would get them clear? Quo. Quo. I think so, quo. Said the Socialist. Quo. They would, or very near. Quo. Quo. If we should try to raise some cash on assets of our own, do you suppose, quo. The Premier said, quo. That we could float alone? Quo. Quo. I doubt it, quo. Said the Socialist, and groaned a doleful groan. Quo. Oh, savings, come and walk with us. Quo. The Premier did entreat. Quo. A little walk, a little talk, away from Barrack Street. My socialistic friend will guide your inexperienced feet. Quo. Quo. We do not think, quo. The savings said, quo. A socialistic crank, although he chanced just now to hold a legislative rank, can teach experienced banking men the way to run a bank. Quo. The Premier and the Socialist, they passed an act or so to take the little savings out and let them have a blow. Quo. We'll teach the banks. Quo. The Premier said, quo. The way to run the show. Quo. There's Tom Waddell, in bank finance, can show them what is what. I used to prove not long ago his estimates were rot. But that, like many other things, I've recently forgot. Quo. Advances on a dried out farm are what we chiefly need, and loan to friends of ms.l.a. are very good, indeed. See how the back block cockatoos are rolling up to feed. Quo. Quo. But not on us. Quo. The savings cried, falling a little flat. Quo. We didn't think a man like you would do a thing like that. For most of us are very small, and none of us are fat. Quo. Quo. This haughty tone, quo. The Premier said, quo. Is not the proper line. Before I'd be dictated to my billet I'd resign. Quo. Quo. How brightly, quo. Said the Socialist, quo. Those little sovereigns shine. Quo. The Premier and the Socialist, they had their bit of fun. They tried to call the savings back, but answer came there none, because the back block cockatoos had eaten every one.